Alright, so today I'm recording a video on catching skipped lines using regular expressions. So let me tell you how this is going to work. I have some of my old LinkedIn posts that I have in my saved posts that I web scraped. Here they are in Obsidian. If I go to Notepad++, here's the raw file that corresponds to this, so you can see the changes in real time. And to understand how this works, I posted this slide on LinkedIn a few weeks back, but you're going to have to get into white space characters a little bit. Your escaped S is any white space character. The escaped N is a new line, whereas the escaped R is a carriage return. And the escaped uppercase R is a combination of both of these. Escape T is a tab, and these are, from what I understand, historical. One of these worked for like coding typewriters. The other is a vertical tab, which I've never heard of. But if you know what they are, good, and here's the characters for them. So an escaped S is going to catch all these white space characters. Everything I had in that table, it's catching it. So be careful when you use this meta character, because it's going to catch everything, maybe more than what you want. The escaped N is a Newline character, so from what I understand, it's right before you've pressed enter at the end of a line. And from what I understand of this, it is after you've pressed enter on a new line. So Windows, when you press enter on the keyboard, it's a combination of both of these. It's a carriage return and a new line character together. You never know what system you're going to be operating with. I know Mac maybe only uses carriage returns. Someone double check me on that. But to catch both the \n and \lowercase r together, you can use the \uppercase r in the find functionality of regular expressions. So that's any Unicode new line sequence. I like to think of it as pressing enter on the keyboard. In Mac, it's return, so that's how I think about it, big R. And then, of course, you have your tab meta character here. \T for tab, it catches anytime you've hit tab when you're working with regular expressions. So let me show you how to use this to clean up some formatting in data. Right now I have all these saved posts. They have my heading in front, so they've got a bunch of hashtags in them. But say I had to turn this into a report to, say, a corporate manager. I probably want to clean it up a little bit. The first thing I'm thinking is, I've got all these characters here. I'm going to guess these are tabs. So I'm going to say, hit Control H for find and replace. If a line starts with an escaped tab, I'm going to replace that and shift everything over to the left. Did that, and if I click save here, you'll see over here it moved everything to the left. The next thing I'm going to want to do is get rid of my weird header here. I'm noticing a trend. If you hit U plus enter, so some sort of carriage return, you'll then get my entire heading that's attached to my LinkedIn. And it ends on the word #data_science. So here, let's see if we can use the meta character uppercase R that we just learned about. I'll see the U's start with a regular dash, so you have to escape punctuation marks in regular expressions. \dash dot star to the end of that line. That will find anything that has a dash in front of it. So unfortunately, that's also catching my images as well. Or yeah, in this case, hosting a portfolio, etc. So I'm going to do, if it's the start of a line with a dash to the end of a line, now I seem to be catching more that I want, but also these U characters. At the end of the line, you can press enter. And let's look for my MS. So now I'm finding the lines with U, the escaped meta character, and then the master's part of my heading. Quick check shows I'm catching all of that, so I'm going to catch all of this to the end of a line until it ends on that hashtag data science. And then another $sign for end of line. And I do seem to be catching all of those double space lines. So with that, I now have a regular expression that can clean up my heading. I'll replace that with, or replace all right there. One thing I want to show you real quick, the \S. That covers all white space characters. So if I hit Control Z on that, you'll see my heading is back. U, Masters, Data Analytics, SQL, I don't know, whatever I put in there. Now if I replace the return carriage with a \S and a plus, meaning one or more of itself, I'm also going to catch the same regular expression. The \S plus is because I think one of these is that Newline character, so the end of a line pressing enter, and one is a carriage return after you've pressed enter and then found the new line. Sometimes when I just do a singular escaped white space S, I don't get the results I want. So again, we'll replace those headings, save this, and, or I guess replace all, save this. There we go. And now you see over here in Obsidian, my headings are gone. We're getting a little closer to a sense of formatting that we could use to turn this into a report. Say I want to go really, really formal. I want to get rid of these hashtags here. Anywhere I see a hashtag, I want to get rid of that. I'll do escaped $, escaped alphanumerical character. So \W for letters and numbers. Find all of those. You can see I'm catching hashtags, data viz, data visualization, storytelling, etc. So I'll replace all of those with nothing. Looks good. Just as a final piece of formatting, let's say I want to get rid of all the spacing between these. Maybe it's an eco thing. I want to save paper. So the big trick, what I usually use here, is I catch the start of a line and see if it is only the carriage return. So only if it's the start of the line, no space, no tabs, no letters, and you've pressed enter. I can replace all there. And that moved up one of my lines, and I'm troubleshooting in real life here. You'll notice there are spaces in the front. So to get rid of all this spacing, what I'm going to have to do is find the start of the line, see if it starts with a white space character, one or more multiple times, and then I will find the start of a line where you've only pressed enter, so no spacing after the line start, and then a carriage return, and then I can replace all, and you can see now I've gotten rid of all the spacing between my posts here. So if I save that, go over to Obsidian, you can see I've compacted all of my posts. The pictures show up one after the other. Gotten rid of the hashtags, and this looks like something I might be able to turn in for a report if I had to. That was a practical application of how to use the Newline functions with regular expressions, or to search for those carriage returns and Newline sequences. So, hope this was helpful. Appreciate you.